on this face much. So I have a different tripod up today. Hey, I have a different tripod up today. We're going to move this around so that you can see my surface down here. Um, I have some brand new products that I've not tried before that you're going to get to try with me. Oh, I love that sound. That you're going to get to try with me. And of course, some that I've done before. But anyway, it's a fun morning. It was Sue's idea that I should come on here and craft occasionally. So let's see, there we are. There I am. And so there's always questions on Thursday night about how do we use the products. And so this is a great opportunity for you to know how to use the products. I have a lot of stuff in the bite now, over 200 items, I believe, in the bite now, including most of the ones that I'm going to work with you today. While things are drying, we can run papers and things like that. So hopefully you are interested. Today, I am going to work with the, these are the tray kits. You actually get two of these and one of these. They are in the bite now, but these are the tray kits. I'm only going to use one of the frames because I'm not going to make it a wall frame, not a tray. It's up to you. The only difference is you would glue this third part on to have a little more depth if you want it to be a tray, but I'm going to save this for a future project. So I'm going to start working with this, and I'm going to be working with the church papers today. I have about 5 packs of church papers. If y'all want me to run them, I will. Before the show started, I picked out which one I wanted, which was actually the small church. There were a lot of them that fit in the frame really nicely. The 5x8 papers are the best for this one. But I opted for this one because I thought that it was, with the church being so small, it had a lot of room for background. So in other pages, the church was larger and it would basically been the whole church, which I think could be a good, fun idea too. But for today, I thought that I would have the church a little more centered and have room for sky and for ground and all that for what I wanted to do today. So that's what we're doing. At probably not live, but when everything is dried and finished, I will just throw a sawtooth hanger or a single D-ring on the back so that it can be hung on the wall. That's the plan. Okay, I'm going to start off with my Prima decoupage gel. Again, it is in the buy it now. So it's a nice thick gel, which is what I like about it, especially because some of these papers are a little bit heavy, which makes them nice and repositionable. They're not going to tear, all that good stuff. But at the same time, it makes them less sticky. So anyway, I'm just going to throw a nice liberal amount of decoupage gel on here. And you can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Today I'm going to make a little frame using the tray kits, but I'm not going to use the second frame. So I'm going to use church paper, and I'm just going to do a cute little churchy snowy scene. A little framed out snowy scene for our fun and enjoyment and home decor. Okay, so I've got a nice liberal amount on there. And I'm going to go ahead and position my church. I'm going to use my frame to help me. I'm sorry I'm not doing this upside down, but y'all will have to live with that. I'm going to use my frame here to help kind of line it up underneath so I know exactly that I am positioned how I want to be positioned. Because I don't always center it. So there we go. That should be good. And now I am going to rub this down really well. Going to use a paper towel to get most of the rest of the decoupage stuff out of my brush. And I have some water here. I'm just rubbing my brush in some water to get it cleaned so I can use it for something else later. So while this is taking a moment to set, it just started. We just literally started. All I did was decoupage a piece of paper onto one of our hey babe, onto one of our frame kits. That's literally all I've done. So did that. While that's drying, we'll go ahead and see if anybody else wants some of this paper that I have. I remember a lot of this is in the Buy It Now. Not the papers individually, but the supplies. Trying to find these papers. Of course, they were so easy to find this morning. Now that I'm live, they are less easy to locate. That's how it works. How it works. Farms. Barns. Witches. 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 Okay, let's see if you guys want any of these. This is what a pack of churches looks like. This conversation. Yeah, I used this, which is available in the Buy It Now. We may have glitter later, but I haven't used any yet. I have some different products, so I may or may not have glitter. I don't know yet. Let's see. So this is the church paper. There are 12 sheets to a set. This is the one I'm using. And so I mean, a lot of these churches would have looked pretty in here, right? I just chose to do one that had the whole scenery once I framed it. Let's see, a lot of these would have looked really pretty in here. I think I have 4 sets of this paper if anybody wants any. Auction. Yes, we have both YouTube, which we are currently streaming to, same name, and we have Facebook, which is Squirrel Envy Home. I'm sorry, Vintage Bee Design, which we haven't been able to change yet. All right, no interest in the papers today. No worries. I do have barns. I have a whole series of barns. Yep, you sure can. We are streaming live to there right now. We are also streaming live to Facebook. All right, so I have, I think, 2 or 3 packs of barns if anybody's interested in the barns. 12 pages per pack. These are perfect for the little frames. And Shady Mill takes one. And that might be the one thing I forgot was to step out to sell stuff. I was all ready for my crafting debut, but let me get a pen. What's some tape? All right, and I'm going to run another pack of barns. And Rhonda takes this one. Does anybody else? Well, I'll just run it while I'm writing Rhonda's name on it. Running another pack of barns. All right, we'll put these away. Now, sometimes these go in so easy and sometimes they do not. Normally when I'm crafting, I batch craft. So I would be working on like 6 or 8 of these at a time, usually however much I can possibly fit on my table, spread out. That's kind of how I work. But all right, I think this is dry enough that I'm going to go ahead and start sanding. Now, when you sand and you're doing decoupage, generally, you want to be sure that you're working on a downward stroke, not up and down, because if you go up and down when it goes up, it might rip it across the surface. So that is one of the keys. Honestly, it probably doesn't matter that much because we have a frame for this, but generally speaking, that's how I want to keep it. I missed the conversation. I'm sorry. It's okay. You can be here to watch. You can be here to learn how to use your hoard. You can refer friends who also likes to craft. We don't want to sell it to you so it sits in a pile in your craft room. And we love it when you guys send us pictures and show us what you've done with it. All right. You see that comes off pretty easily and it looks pretty good. These are paper. They're just, I got some over here. We sell these, we sell 12 packs of churches. They're paper. They're kind of a thick paper. They're heavier than like a printer paper, but they're not cardstock. Oh, it's really easy. The key is, so this is 120 grit, right? And it's downward strokes, not up and down, just down. Just downward strokes. So that's pretty easy. Basically glue, paper, downward strokes. Heavy grit, sandpaper. Okay, so now we're going to work on this. I'm just going to put my frame top aside for a little while. And I just recently learned of this product. And guys, it blows my mind. Completely blows my mind. And that is this. Actually, first, I almost forgot a step. Hang on, almost forgot a step. We're going to use our decor varnish. You could use any kind of varnish that you want. I like this decor varnish. I follow somebody on YouTube called Inspirations from the Soul. And I love her work. She's so good. You just literally just paint this on. And I bought a bunch of the products that she was using and tried them and then decided, oh, I'm going to have to carry this for my craft friends because these products are amazing and I don't ever see them anywhere except for the craft stores. And then one, like I don't go to the craft stores because I'm kind of an introvert and like to not be around people. And two, I think everything is expensive at the craft stores. They mark it up so that you can have coupons to mark it down. So I just gave that a top coat. What I love about this specific top coat that I got, it's called Soft Touch. And when it dries, it feels like you waxed it. It's not going to matter for this step, but it does feel really nice. So anyway, that is available in the bite now. Also, I'm gonna grab my heat gun here and we're just gonna move this along a little faster. Now, kids, a heat gun is a powerful thing. People can be foolish and burn themselves with it. So, if you are not careful, I have seen many people do it. When I used to teach craft classes. Crazy Bee, thanks for sharing. Welcome in. All right. Key, do not ever touch this tip. Don't let this tip anywhere near you if you've used it. I have literally had students pass one to the next and they try to grab it with the tip and burn the flesh off their fingertips. No matter how many times I say it, somebody will always do something stupid. Don't be them. Okay, so now that's all nice and dry. And so next we're going to use the crackle medium. Now I have ordered more small because we sold out of the small, but I do have 2 sets of large. So this is the large, it's in the bite now, and this is the size of the small. Yeah, I'll be happy to run the churches. Just see where I set them down. There they are. There are 12 churches inside. Variety pack. Yes, we are selling pent art. If you have a request for any specific pent art products, let us know. Rustic cottage. Okay. The printer stuff. I don't think I know what that means. Oh, primer. Yes, I have, depending on which primer you want, I do have this primer in the buy it now. And if it's a different primer you want, let me know which primer, because there's about 16 kinds of primers that they sell. Let me put the lid on here before I knock it over. All right, so this is the classic crackle varnish. This is component 1. I'm gonna tell you guys, it's gonna blow your mind. All right. Now, in this case, I don't want the church to be crackled. I just want everything around the church to be crackled and look old. That's going to be my artistic decision of the day. So I am just sloppily adding component 1. Hang on, there was a question there, and I can't see it yet. As soon as I get done with this, I will look at it. Okay, I have component 1, and I need to let that dry. So let me peek at the conversation while that dries. Does that other step the top coat? I don't think so. I've done this over, yeah, I probably would top coat it. I don't have a preference for their primers yet. I haven't tried them all. The one I grabbed is a texture primer. And you'll see why I grabbed that later. All right, I'll look at the different primers and see which one it might be. But if you figure out which one it might be before then, let me know. So I'm going to use my heat gun. Does anybody want me to run anything while I'm here? Any papers or anything? I don't think that for this to actually, I know for a fact for this to work, you do not have to top coat, because saw somebody use this on glass the other day, and that was truly mind blowing. But I don't know that I would have enough time to do that on here. We'll see. I'll try that on my own, and we'll see if it's something that I would have time to do in a live on here. If they did it in a video, but so you want to let component number 1 dry completely. And I'm going to tell you, this is my favorite part about this stuff, because one of the issues, now you can find my used to remove paint as a paint removing tool. So you gotta be careful you don't let your project get too hot. Um, so, all right. So again, one of my favorite things is this is dry because one of the things that I find like with most crackles, the issue that you have is that they they want you to put the part two on when it's at a certain place of drying. If you wait too long, it'll be too dry to work. If you do it too early, it just makes a mess of everything. And so, yep, it's the tray. And it's got the two frames for it. So I'm gonna make this a single frame, but anyway, so I have part one all the way dry. So now I'm gonna use component two. And again, I do have a large of this crackle in the bite now. We'll have small, hopefully by Thursday. They've already shipped, so now I'm going to just do this right over the component one. And again, I'm not going over the church because I really don't want the church to crackle. I want the area around the church to crackle. Pretty easy so far, right? Okay. I'm gonna grab my heat gun again. I'm gonna just do it on low heat because I don't want it to lift my decoupage paper off. Normally I batch paint. Well, thank you so much for the tip. That is very, very kind of you. Um, Normally I batch, so by it really when you see me tapping, it's because the decoupage glue is lifting the paper a little. So I'm just shoving it back down before it becomes a problem. So normally I just batch paint, and by the time I'm done with the last one, the first one is ready. Okay, so it doesn't look like much now. You can kind of see the crackle happening in there, but from a distance you can't. So this is when you can use wax or whatever you would like. In this case, I'm just going to use some silver rub and buff. Sue told me to use the silver. No, it's step one and step two, and they come together. So you're going to buy like it comes like this. Let's see what they are two separate mediums. Sue told me to use silver because in the film industry, the the old the old art, like the first ones I did, I used gold, and she said to use silver, which I haven't done yet. But to use silver because the old films, the old art, when it crackles, because she's a photographer, when it crackles, it's the silver underneath that you're actually seeing. So I just put some of the silver rub and buff. I'm gonna use my finger. I'm gonna do this up close so I can rub it on here. Just gonna rub it on here. It looks like I'm making a mess of things. And then I'm going to take a towel, paper towel. I'm going to have to ink some muscle on here. Hang on, I might have to go grab some wax. One of the great things is if you over wax, wax is the remover. So let me go grab some clear wax. Sorry about that. Clear wax is your wax removal. Look at that. When you over wax. I'm going to disagree with her. I liked it better when I used a dark. So I'm going to go back to that method. I don't think you can see it as well. She might be correct on her how it was done in the day methodology. But I'm going to do it the way that I did it before and it worked. All right. I've already ordered more of these. I don't have them in yet. This is, it's basically a mica powder. You could use dark wax. This is just sparkly, and y'all know I like sparkle. It's a powder, so I'm just going to rub it in, rub it in, rub it in. Also, I don't always think the heat gun is the best way to do things. It is fast, but I think products work better under their own natural way, unless, like milk paint, there's a reason to use heat. But on these, I don't think so much. I'll show you the difference too, that I did paper. You know, the cards that I sell to put in the little stands? This was what it looked like originally, but it's a different paper, but side by side to that. But I started with the dark there. Yes. Wax is always the way. Clear wax is your answer for getting rid of that. I may use a little dark wax because it's not in there as much as I'd like, I think. So I may come back with some dark wax, but we'll start here and see where we go. Now I could do another layer. It's hard to see on here too. I could do another layer of it and let it dry on its own. We'll see once I get through. There's always so many steps. I'm thinking it was, because I can see all the crackling, I'm thinking it was putting the silver on first, but now I don't have the ability to get into all the little crevices. Let me try this. Add a little wax to my brush and then put it in the glittery stuff and try to work that in. Oh yeah, that's better. Now you can definitely see it better. You see the crackles? Yeah, pen art is great. Make this bottom area a little bit. So I'm going to tell Sue that despite her, I don't know, but I happen to have some sitting here. We'll try it out. Okay. There we go. Now it's a little bit of a gloomy day. Okay. Now I feel better. Now I feel better. You can see all the crackly. The dark was definitely better for me than the light. And I'm sure that's because I have such a light picture, right? Okay. So now before I do anything else on here, what I want to do is I want to add my frame, because anything else I want in the confines of the frame. So this is how it's going to be framed, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some wood glue, some clear wood glue to my frame. You could use a brush. I'm always going to use my almost always going to use my finger because it's just it's how I do. And these frames, these are actually the trays. They are in the buy it now. If you wanted to pick any up, and it has two of these frames, one base. I'm just going to save my second frame to use with a different project. All right. So now I'm just going to on here, and it just takes a couple minutes for the glue to dry. I am going to use my equivalent of clamps. You could use the little binder clips for these, whatever you have around. But I do want to make sure that these are nice and together. And the best way to do that is to clamp them. And I looked, and my husband does not have enough regular clamps for these. And then I decided I knew where these were because this is how we used to hang the stencils in our booth. Knew exactly where all these were. So this will just take a few minutes for the glue to set and for this to basically permanently be in place. And while that's sitting and gluing up, make sure it's all perfect, I'm just going to use a damp brush to clean up any glue that has come through. This will dry clear. This is the brand of clear wood glue that I use. If anybody wants to know, we do not have that in the buy it now. But we have a bunch of different kinds of wood glue. This is the kind for my crafting because if it seeps through, it doesn't distort anything. And any that's hanging out here on the outside. Guys, if you can't hang around, this is streaming on our YouTube and our Facebook page. So you can come back later and watch it. Or if you need to know a technique, it'll be there. We are the same name under YouTube, and on Facebook, we are Vintage Bee Design still. Okay, so that's just gonna sit there for a couple minutes and dry. Let me see if there were questions or comments. So what I've done so far is we've decoupaged this church paper onto the tray, the back tray. And then I have used crackle medium to give it a nice crackle, but not on the church. I chose not to do it on the church, just to do it around the church. I didn't want the church crackly. I just wanted the background crackly. You can see the crackles there. So we'll just let that sit for a moment. Our next step will be the primer paste, the gesso, white gesso. You know what? While this is drying, I'm going to go grab a floral to answer your question, Wanda. I have a big box of these in the other room that I got from an estate buyout. So these are what they look like. The magnolias are or poinsettias are very soft, but they're plain. So let's break out the ice crystals and we shall see. I have not used the ice crystals yet. All right, I was assuming we'd want to use a trowel for that. Where's my trowel? Here is my trowel. So this is just a nice gel. Can't really see it very well with lots of sparkle. Maybe you'd want to use your fingers and work it on there. I don't know. But we'll just throw some here on the edges and we'll see what happens at the end of the show. Look, we do things so you don't have to. That's what Sue and I've always said. We try things so you don't have to. All right, so they're on there. It's hard to see them right now. I'm sure it'll be much easier to see when they are dry, but I did them kind of all along these petals here. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. I intended to use this here on the grass and stuff to make the grass all sparkly, is my intent. Okay. This is probably dried long enough that it is going to be basically permanently affixed. It doesn't have to dry all the way. It just has to dry long enough that when you push it together, it's not pushing together or pulling apart. Usually, if I were doing this on my own, this is like when I break for lunch. Or again, I do this in batch. So I would have a bunch of them running along here and it'd be fine. We are trying the ice crystals paste for the flowers. We have no idea. Watson Donna asked, do you think those would work on fake flowers? I'm like, I don't know. I've never tried it. So we'll try it on here. We're going to use these ice crystals here in the grass and a little bit on the church later on in the demo. So this is my primer paste. And I specifically chose this one because the girl I like to watch, again, Inspirations from the Soul, uses this gesso, this primer all the time for her projects. And I love her work. I have a love-hate relationship with basically, oh, this one is still a little sticky right here. I'm just going to clamp that right. See, I said if it did it, that's how you know it's not quite ready. I'm just going to clamp those together. I'm going to glue a little longer. Cool, Chick. Thank you so much for the tip. I really appreciate it. So I'm just going to let those ends clamp together a little bit longer. But my love-hate relationship with any of the stuff that's cut out by the lasers is I hate that when you paint it, you can see the layers, even if it's glued together really well. So I've always tried to do like a salt wash or something like that on the side. And if you saw the mushroom ornament I did, that was actually done. I don't have it here, but it's like this grass, but it's called moss, just different colors. I used that. For this one, I'm going to use this paste and basically trowel it so that I get some texture on here. And it'll cover up my seam so that this is going to be a nice wintry frosty. But it'll cover my seam. You could make it nice and smooth if you wanted to. That would work also. But it's just one of those, I don't know, it's just one of those things that really bugs me about laser cut pieces. Because to get the depth, they have to make multiples of the same size or to get the layering, right? So this way, as it dries, you won't be able to see any of that. And so I'm just using a little trowel. And I like it giving the texture on the front also. So I'm letting it go over on the front and just give it a little texture. This is going to be a little snowy church scene. So I see everything moving, and I'm not sure if I'm missing comments. I'll peek in a minute. I hear birds in the house. Daddy must have put on the bird TV because I forgot when I started. Explains PETA wandering around the house crying. Please, somebody put on the bird TV. Please, somebody, anybody, bird TV. Help a girl out. I don't have opposable thumbs. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Let's see if I missed any comments or questions. All right, I'm going to use my heat gun on low just to try to speed this part along. And then I'll pull off the clamps and catch the areas I didn't do yet. I don't want to throw too much heat on there because I don't want it to affect the paper and the glue that I've got going on here. So that was a little help along. I'm going to go ahead and just get started on the next part while that does its thing. So I'm going to go ahead and put a layer of varnish over my crackle. And that's because I'm going to use, I didn't put any crackle over my church. And now everything kind of has a different finish level. So this is matte and this is all glossy from the products I use. So I'm going to use the decor finish to get everything back to a matte finish. And get that velvety soft look that I like. Can you hear my dog snoring in the background? She's way off in the other room, and you can still hear her. I am going to order some of the shiny varnish as well. I'm not a super fan of shiny, but I am realizing at Christmas time, some of the projects probably should be shiny. Okay, now that's just going to take everything to a low sheen, a nice flat sheen, so that it all has the same finish, which I like. It's how I like. That's how I like. And I can see my paste is doing its job, and it's starting to get, I just want to take another moment before I take these clamps off to remember they weren't quite dry all the way. Probably, I don't do a lot of things that are this detailed in my booth. The last time I did ornaments with this style, they sold for $19 each. So I'd probably be in that $20 range. You can kind of see there are some little crackles of the shimmer through. You'll see it every little direction when I change it. I'm okay with that. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat, but you can see that the edges are no longer shiny. They're all the same texture now. And look, the matte, the crackle is still really nice in there. You see the good crackling, the good crazing up in there, up in there, up in there. Pricing is a really hard. It is. This for me is more the love of what I like to do. So like I have a Handmade by Melissa show. I'll probably put this in there. I wouldn't normally probably put this in my booth. I might try, but I know most people are cheap that are shopping. I used this product, which is in the buy it now. Okay, so I have a little stencil brush and I'm going to take these ice crystals, the same things that we used on these flowers. See how they're coming along? Yep, they're starting to, it's hard to see probably on camera, but you can start to see the iciness on the edge there because these did not have glitter. And if you want to see any of um, the steps, I have the streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook. So you should be able to get on there. So I'm going to take this, the ice crystals, and I'm just taking a stencil brush. You could use a regular brush, but I kind of want to dab it, not paint it. So I'm going to take and just add some snow and frost to my yard here. And I'm trying to let there be some chunks. Not too thick. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. This is kind of my sneak way of actually getting some fun crafting into. Okay. I'll show you what that looks like up close so you can see. And we'll see it all when it's dry too. So here's what it looks like in the grass. I'm going to add some on these little trees. The trees should all be icy, right? And on these little trees here. Happy little trees. Happy little trees. And then I'm going to add some on the steeple and on the roof lines and the house line. And across the here. You see me rolling my brush. It's just because I'm trying to get chunks of the glittery stuff on, or it might have gone on my brush more. We're gonna try those. So the powder pens, they are velvet powder. And so what I was planning on doing at the end is painting the back and then doing a stencil with the varnish and then using the velvet powder to create a velvet embossed look on the back. That is the plan. So I have the gray one here next to me. Nope, not that one. This one. And they have a little tip so you can like paint with it. I would probably make this tip bigger. And then also you can just sort of pop this top off and you can see it's full of velvet powder. So I was probably going to have a little plate under me so that I can catch up what doesn't get used and put it back in the tube. But basically I wanted to do it so that I would be able to have embossed velvet stencil on the back. And we have it in green and red also right now because I bought it for the holidays. So gray, green, and red. So we'll see how it works. I haven't used it yet, but the moss I loved. So I'm hoping it's good. So, all right, this is where I am right now with my church. Try to, there, so you can kind of see where it's wet and you can see where the crystals are. There, so they're kind of creating an icy land around my church and on the ground. This is still drying a bit. Oh, here. Doesn't take a seal off, I assume. Nope, it's ready to go. And then I have a snow pen. Snow pen. And I am just going to try to go on and add some snow on my roof lines and my trees. Everything's a little tacky, so think I need that open a little bit. It's a little too fine. All right, I didn't bring any scissors with me, so I'll be back. Okay. Trying to figure out how not to touch the other things while using the. Is it still sealed? Feeling it's still sealed in there. I thought I looked, but. Out and About is rating with a party of 10. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm going to have to get a Givey going, and I didn't set up a Givey. So I'll need to do that here in just a second. Yeah, that's still sealed. Right back. All right, there we go. It had apparently a little line on the side that, oh, look, this is movable. This kind of squishes so you can, like an accordion, so you can move it to a direction you need or want. All right, let's do a Givey. Givey. We're doing churches, so how about this little set of church? Create a tempe. Paper Gibby. All right, we are running this 10 pack of papers. Yes, it's the tray kit. Yep, it is in the buy it now. You're welcome. All right, so let's try this one more time, or as many times as it takes. All right. Now we're cooking with some gas. So we're just going to add some snow to our little roof lines here. I think that's good. I don't need a lot of snow, but maybe we should put some on the trees. Just a little bit on the trees. I'm trying to mostly keep the direction of the snow going the same way so that, if I started on the right side, that it's staying on the right side. Obviously, this is a different part of the house, so it would have fallen from the top to the bottom, right? So I'm trying to think about how gravity might work or what have you. Each both moment of how to. I'm not sure I understand, Marletta. I'm sorry. It's probably me. All right. So this is where we are so far. We got our shimmery grass, some snow on our trees and our roof lines. Ah, yes, thank you. All right, I'm just gonna try and heat this up a little, get it moving along. I'm gonna go ahead and try and do these areas. This should be good and dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my primer paste again to smooth out the sides here and then pull up the texture on here. This is the glue that I use. It's just wood glue, but it dries really clear. You can use any kind of wood glue. I use that again because it dries clear. So I'm just troweling this onto the side because I want texture. I chose this specific one because I wanted texture. And I want to be able to, one of the things that I dislike about the laser stuff is that you get that layering look on the side. And so I want to make this look not like layered, basically. I want it to look like it's one continuous piece, more like a frame would be. So I'm just using my trowel and using the outside. Now you could do this on books. I think it'd be really pretty on books. Old books, new books. Get rid of some of those new books that you have that nobody wants. Most of the products that I'm running are available that I'm using are available on the buy now. I do have a couple more packs of this church paper if anybody wants it. And Shady Mills takes the Givey. The Givey is, where did I put it? It's not what just fell. I literally have it right here. Oh, there it is. Shady Mill gets the Givey. You get your name on that. So if anybody wants me to run anything, let me know. So I'll watch the inspirations for the soul lady on YouTube. You're welcome. On YouTube. And she always has a perfect manicure. She has like her table set up with like garland and Christmas trees on it or whatever for the season. And never, ever, ever gets product on her hands. And John always wants to know how it is that her hands always look perfect and mine always look like this. I'm like, I can see she's a real crafter, but I don't get it. Like I don't know how to craft without making a mess. I send him there's an artist I follow on YouTube and I don't remember what the name is. But he's like he's painting and then he just like oh just this little brush and then the next thing he's got like green paint all over his hands and then he's like and then the next thing you know it's like all up his arms. I'm like that's more like me. That's the me. You have gold on your nail right now. Yeah, exactly. That's I don't I paint my fingers paint my fingernails all the time. Just with, acrylic, chalk paint, whatever. All right. So now I've got that layered out. Thinking for a moment how I want to manage this. I think I want to pull some more of this. See this blue sky back here? So this paste, sorry, I've shown it a couple times, but you might not have caught it, depending on when you came in. And we do have it in the bite now. Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm gonna bring some of this blue in slightly. So I have some I have folk art in the color French blue, and I have apple barrel in bright blue. Will not be using much bright blue, but and somewhere here I have a dollar. There it is. You want any more? Excuse you. And I'm just gonna bounce along outside here. Pick up a little more of the gray as I go. Can you see it's giving me a good texture around the edge? Okay, and now see how it's kind of pulling out that blue a little bit more in the center? Kind of softens the overall look. I'm gonna go ahead and do that same thing around the sides. And I am not worrying about getting full coverage, and you'll see why later. I'm just worrying about getting most of it, not all of it. Guys, we will have a full DIY sale night, all the products on Thursday. We have all kinds of new rice papers, paper papers, transfers, everything. So we don't have any new IOD this week, and I probably won't get out to get it. We have plenty of other good new products.
There.
Huh?
Do you have a hot glue gun rolling?
No, but I do have the heat gun.
Oh, okay.
So here. Get the signs.
Sorry to interrupt. I just smelled something.
It's all right. Not burning anything, I promise. I'm just gonna hit that with the heat gun real quick. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the back. How do you like our project so far? Let me know in the comments. Would you like me to do more of these? This is the first time I've sat down to do one of these. Would you like me to do more of these? It's fun to learn how to use the products, I think, if you haven't used them before, or if you're, just a beginner crafter. And I don't mean just like, oh, you're just a beginner. Got to start somewhere, man. I've been crafting most of my life. I used to get in big trouble when, well, Kelly, thanks. Um, I used to get in trouble when I was a kid because I would stay home and craft instead of going out to play. I would, do needlepoint, crewel, or cross stitch, whatever. And used to make my mom crazy. She really wanted to tomboy, which she got in my sister, but my sister's 13 years younger than me, so it took a long time to get there. This daubing method, well, super annoying. I don't know if you can tell. It's getting more of a cloudy look, versus trying to paint it in with just the paintbrush. I love cross stitch. Right now, I'm working on beaded cross stitch. I don't know if you've tried that. I buy off of Etsy from a woman in the Ukraine who puts together kits. It's so much fun. It comes out so pretty. Yeah, try look up beaded cross stitch on Etsy. Some beautiful, beautiful patterns. All right. I'm gonna let that's mostly dry, but I'm gonna let that dry a little bit longer. And I'm gonna, since this should be dry now, I'm gonna add some of the ice crystals, they're there, to my snow. To my snow that's up here on my church. Because it's nice that it's all white and has good texture and all that, but I also want it to be sparkly. Because I like the sparkles. I like the sparkles. There you go. All right. Now, by the way, guys, I never have a complete plan when I craft. Not ever. It always just sort of evolves. That's how I craft. I craft with it evolving, never with it. I never start out going, and I'm going to do this, 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 and have the whole thing planned out. Nope. I have to do it where I'm figuring it out as I go. But like I have some idea. That's why I knew I was going to have the blue out here because the one I picked had sky, right? So I knew I wanted to have that. But now I'm going to go back to that crackle. And I'm going to do step one crackle. I'm going to do it on the frame. So the sides and the top of the frame. So step one, it's sort of like a gluey material. It sort of feels like you're painting with glue. And, I'm looking for texture here. So I'm not worried about it being thick or any of that. Guys are really I've become so obsessed over this crackle medium. You don't even understand. I'm actively working on a piece in the garage that's a giant china top. And I this morning was getting ready and questioning if I wanted to add some of this crackle to it. All right. So I've added one coat of crackle. And this time I'm just going to let it dry. I don't think it did as well when I forced it with the heat gun. And it doesn't take long to dry. So let's just let it dry for a couple minutes here. Y'all want me to run any of the rice papers or the church papers or anything while we're waiting for this to dry? I have brand new rice papers in. Let me run the rice papers that I got in. The brand new rice papers. All right. Cover this so I don't accidentally spill it. I'm really good at that. Y'all know. Bolin's Time Shop. And Shady Mills. Do you want that? How do I keep losing my marker? There it is. And Sandy takes this one. Sonia, thanks for sharing. I appreciate you. I mean, I appreciate you, even if you're not sharing, but we do appreciate the sharing. Thursday night is our regular DIY night where we will do like I'll have more rice papers, transfers, everything. Jersey Craft Girl, thanks for your first purchase. And Jersey says, I really do like that one. Almost dry. And hopefully by Thursday night, I had Jackie cut us a whole bunch of different wood frames. I have not tried the foils. And Sandy takes this one. But specifically for the paper that we sell, the 6x6 and the 8x5, I had her cut a whole bunch like specialty frames for us that fit our papers so that you could get the papers and the frames and know that they would work together. So I'm pretty excited about that. She showed me a picture of the test run of all of them. They look really good. So I'm pretty excited about that. And Sandy. I'll do like one more and then we'll do part 2 and run more while it dries. And Lisa. Stay. Hey there, Jersey girl. This is my last of this one. And Jersey Craft Girl takes it. All right, let's come back to the crafting for a moment, and then we'll do some more papers when we're letting part 2 dry. All right, so we did component 1. Now we're going to add component 2. Again, one of my favorite things is that it doesn't require me to, like, it's just when part 1 is dry. So technically I could leave part 1 dry overnight if I needed to. I could step away from it and go do something else. I don't have to wait, like sit there with bated breath hoping that I don't miss the perfect window like most crafting things. And I can paint, like I don't have to have a color to go over and under. Like most crackle products, you have to have like an under, like you paint a color and then you put the crackle and then you paint an over color and it cracks to show that under color. That's not required. You can put it over basically any surface. I'll go in, when this is drying here, I'll go in the kitchen and grab the one that I did. I have it in the buy it now. So it looks like this and it's in the buy it now. It may be sold out, in which case I'll have more on Thursday, but otherwise it's in the buy it now. All right. I'll be right back. So this is same tray kit. I just haven't finished the project yet. And I used dark wax, but I used, this is over a transfer. This is over a Prima transfer. So, like I said, you really can basically put it over anything because you don't have to have an under layer of paint or an over layer of paint. You can just put the crackle on. And that's going to look really pretty with the frame on it when it's done. Where's my second frame? I swear you could give me all the space in the world and I'd find a way to fill it and never be able to find anything. Because I know I have that other frame sitting right here. Can I find it? There it is. I don't know what just went overboard. Let's see, that's going to look real pretty once I get it done. Okay, I just dropped my papers. That's what I moved off. Oh, thankfully they didn't scatter everywhere. Okay, we'll run the rice papers while this is drying. And sandy. I have a couple little toy boxes I need to do something with that we got from a state clean out. I think these will be really cute on them. Sandy takes that one too. Aren't they cute? They're so cute. And Sandy takes that one. Not quite dry yet. It's a little cool in the house today too, so. Let's go a smidge longer to dry. Yep, I'll run it again. And Blooming takes that one. You can almost hear Sue moo. Farm fresh milk. Kimberly. Anybody else need to move? Mm. And Sandy. Sandy, can't you see I'm in misery? Sorry. Couldn't keep it in my brain anymore. Y'all know me. I have a hard time. Singing just wants to come out of my head. It's not good singing, but it's singing. Shady Mills and singing should be associated with joy. So probably unless you're listening to my singing. That's right. That's right, Bloomin'. I think Kimberly takes that one. Doing here. I think I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun. We'll move on. I think it's mostly dry, just hopefully that's dry. Feels good now. I'm going to take a little of my mica powder. I have ordered this from Prima, so I don't think it'll be here this week, but hopefully next week's show we'll have some available. And did I not put you in the water? I did not. That's a little bit. So I'm gonna use a little bit of wax, clear wax, and a little bit of mica powder, and I'm just gonna rub over the edges so that you can see the crackle better. And wipe some back. I don't want it too much. You kind of see the edge there crackle. You see it? It's like an alligator crackle along the edge. Hey, hey, we're doing a little crafting workshop here. Now, somebody asked earlier what I would charge for these, when I talk about time and stuff, but I would never just sit here and make one either. So while things were drying, that kind of stuff, I would be working on, like, I would usually do a bunch of these, all maybe a little bit different. Like this paper, it comes in a 12 pack. So, I might do all 12 churches lined up and do them all at one time so that when I'm done, the time that I spent isn't that much more actually because I didn't have to wait for drying. Again, you can see this side, the crackle. That's on there. Okay. So we're looking pretty good. Overall, I like the way it looks. Let's, I do wish I'd put just a little more snow in the yard. Not frost. I like the frost. I'm going to add with my snow pen. I'm just going to add some little spots of snow because I feel like, I don't know, like you wouldn't have so much on the church and then have none in the yard. Whoa, that was too much. That was a little much. Does that feel better? I feel like that feels better. That feels better to me. What do you guys think? A little more snow? Okay. So next off, I am going to make, I think the frames are great. I think they're very lovely, but I want more. Because I'm a more is more girl. Y'all know that about me. So I'm going to take my 2-part resin. Oops, I'm going to need a popsicle stick. So, and this is in the white now also. Very easy to use. If you feel intimidated, do not. So you're going to want a little bit larger non-styrofoam cup. They come with these little cups. They'll come with a couple of the like Dixie cups or whatever, but styrofoam is bad. Styrofoam, it'll eat through the styrofoam, so don't do that. So I'm only going to do about 10. That should be enough. Okay, so I'm going to mix equal parts A and B. So if I have 10 of A, then I'm going to want 10 of B. And I don't know if you can see it, but there are numbers on the side of the cup. Okay, so if I got 10 of A, I want 10 of B. I'm going to throw them in the same cup. Now, this is quick cast resin. So you have very little working time. It'll be cloudy in the cup, and you just mix until it's clear. Once it's clear, it's ready to pour, which is now. And again, you have very little work time on this. So do what's important first. I do like that you can use just what you need. Just using this to get into the little tips and points. I can already feel my cup getting hot, which means I'm running out of time to pour this. So let me just see what else I can pour. I always try to use whatever I have left just to pour extras in case I want them for, some other project. Ah, it's drying on me. All right, that's as much as I'm going to get out of there because it's already drying in my cup. It'll be white sludge in a moment. All right, we'll go ahead and run through rice paper again while this dries. For those of you who want to, you can sit and watch it dry. It'll start turning white, and from the middle in the deepest sections, and then it will, within 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops, it will be cured enough to use. That's literally all there is to it. So we'll run some more rice paper while that dries. Thanks. Consider over there. I can. Thank you.
Mhm.
And blooming takes that. These are going to look so pretty in the little frames that we do. And Jersey Craft Girl gets that one. Look, you can see it's starting to dry, cure up, harden up, cure, yeah. Whatever word you want to use. If they are sold out, I will order more this week. They probably won't be here Thursday. They might be, but they probably won't be, but I'll order more. And they'll be here by next week. Sorry, Polchik. And blooming lilac. I wasn't really sure how much to order, being the first time and everything. if y'all will be receptive to it, or I have gotten burned in the past by carrying a lot of inventory, so I'm trying to keep light inventory. Plus, I don't really have a great place to store it. I want you guys to keep coming back. And Sandy takes this one. Look, we're almost done. Jay Mills takes this one.
Ouch. Better.
What you doing, babe? Making lunch? You're eerie deary. See, that's what I mean. I like literally losing my tape and I'm sitting right here. Moonshine, thanks for the follow. Okay, I do have 2 of these. And Sandy takes that one. Just waiting for the little edges to be done now. And Deb takes this one. It's a pretty little snowbird. Snowbird. Quack, quack. And Sandy takes that one. Same quack, quack. What did you make? He must have his headphones on.
I made leftover stuff from the other day.
Right, let's see, these look pretty good. Look like they're ready to pop out. So the easiest way is usually to turn them over and push them from the back side rather than pulling out the top. If you push from the back, and roll them out, they are much less likely to break. And then I want this big one. Well, that one did break, but actually you really can't tell it on the mold itself, so I'm not going to worry about it. I could actually glue it on too, and I'm just going to save these for right now because I don't need them. So I think I want this down maybe around here. And these up here. No, these, or do I not want these? Maybe I do want those. Let's try a couple different things. Like I said, this is always an evolving process for me. I rarely have everything planned out. I think I kind of like this one on the bottom. It feels too busy. All right, I'm going to stick with my first instinct. Sticking with the first instinct. I'm going to go to my wood glue. Now, I know that the lady that I like to watch, Inspirations from the Soul, she actually uses her primer paste to glue her resin on. I haven't tried that, but she does. She uses her primer paste to glue her resin on. I'll come and get that glue that's spitting out a little bit after I get them stuck on how I want them. Just want to press down firmly. This is resin. I used the 2-part resin. And it is available in the bite now. It takes about 10 minutes to cure in the mold. Equal parts A and B, easy as can be. And if you want to see any of this, I am live streaming on Facebook and YouTube, so you can absolutely go back and watch. So I'm just going to use a damp brush and come back and clean up any of the glue that's popped out. Now, again, the glue I use, which is this Boss Dog, dries completely clear, doesn't dry yellow, so it will not ruin your design if you miss some dried glue. It won't make it look all ugly. Okay. I'm just gonna let that take a moment. Well, nice, Serenity. Welcome in, welcome in. We do a full-on DIY show on Thursday nights at 8, where we sell a lot of the products. We have between vintage, greenery, and craft supplies, we have about 200 items in the bite now, and we're sold out of some things I heard that we use today, but we get more in a couple times a week. We really try to keep up with the DIY supplies. All right, so I am going to, so that's how we're looking right now. I'm going to use the silver rub and buff. And I'm going to go ahead and paint my molds with them. This is, do I want to use this brush? Yes, I want to use this brush. Now, if you actually came to my work table while I'm normally crafting, you wouldn't find lids on things. You just find bottles open, strewn about everywhere. This is not my normal crafting table. I'm trying to make sure I don't knock stuff over and spill it everywhere. So you can see you can paint right over the molds. They've, they haven't had long to dry, but they're fine. No, I mean, I used glue to put it to the wood, and the resin, this two-part resin, I paint over all the time. You could use a primer if you felt like you needed to, but the rub and buff, if I were probably not using rub and buff, I probably would use a primer, but in this case with the rub and buff, it basically sticks to everything. So, I might prime the resin if I were just using paint. But this fast cast resin is pretty much meant to be worked with right away. Now, in the real crafting world, I might let the glue dry a little longer on here because, like I said, I usually batch paint. So I usually have, I might have done all 10 of the church pages and lined them up. And by the time I got to the last one, everything would be mostly dry. All right, so now that I've got those all painted up in silver, I'm going to take and get most of the paint off my brush, and I'm going to very lightly dry brush over the blue here, just to give it a little more shimmer and texture. I'm not really trying to hide that bronze, and I'll actually come and put a little more bronze over it again, but and I'm not looking for full coverage, I'm just looking for a dry brush. Yeah, they're really easy to work with. We have frame molds in the Buy It Now from Prima. We have the casting resin in there. There's also like a casting plaster that's in there. But the resin is super easy to work with, in my opinion. Okay, so you can see the dry brush, and it's pulling out that crackle. And I think I'm actually going to dry brush just a tiny bit, just a teeny tiny bit on the snow. That textured snow. Just add maybe just a little bit under here. Again, this is all, like, I never have a plan. I'm just always sort of winging it. So it's always about how do I feel when I'm doing it? Where do I think it needs something? little gray in the sky. Kind of pull out this blue that I've got here in the middle of this paper. Maybe just a little bit down here. It's a little too much. And remember, if you have too much, clear wax is your friend. Clear wax is the eraser. Clear wax is the eraser of other waxes. So if you're working with wax, it's always good to have some on hand. Thank you. Now I'm going to add just a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit of this coppery, bronzy mica powder. Get a little wax on there, add a little powder, and I'm going to try and grunge these up just a little bit, and then I'll wipe back. If you have decrepit dust or anything like that, you totally can use those products for this. You see the difference in the top and bottom? Raid! Raid, who raided? Well, Crystal, thank you so much for the raid. We appreciate you. Let's get another Gibby going. Gibby, 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 Gibby. Look, we're doing a wintry scene, so how about some cute polar bear papers? There are 12 sheets, 6x6. Gibby is running. Get in there. Draw a little Coca-Cola bottle in his hand. It's all perfect for Christmas. All right, we're going to keep working on this. The products that I'm using are available in the bite now. Oopsies. I do still have a couple packs of the church paper if anybody wants me to run it. There are, yes, run church paper. Okay, let me just get this on here. So I don't forget where I am. Mm-hmm. What we're using for the base is our tray kit. I'm sorry. Yeah, our tray kit. So it has this plus another one of these in case you want to make it thick like a tray. In this case, I only used one part because I'm going to make it more like art and just put a sawtooth hanger on the back. So you can see what it's looking like. I do love that crackle. It makes me so happy. Okay. So the church papers. They're not there. They're over here. I have 2 more church papers. So let me run through them and show them to you. These are approximately 5x8. This is for one set of church papers. And I have 2 available. Brazil, New York girl, thanks for the follow. And Steffi D takes the first set. All right, gonna run the second set. My last set. These are approximately 5 inches by 8 inches. And they fit pretty much perfectly in our frame molds, our frame kit. I guess this is the tray kit. And Pull Check picks this set. Okay. So overall, I think I'm pretty happy with how the front looks. You're very welcome. I'm happy how the front looks. So, and the sides. So let's finish off the back. In case we want to turn this into an ornament. Don't have to do the back if this is actually going to go on a wall, but I want to try a product that I haven't tried before. So we're going to start off there. All right. I want to, oh, I didn't finish the backs of these little guys. So I want to get these. Winner, chicken dinner. Who is it? Who is it? It's Margie Joe. Margie Joe takes some papers. Thank you again for the raid, guys. All right. Just get the backs of these. I really do intend for this to be hung on the wall, but I want to try this product. I haven't had a chance to try this product, and I really, really want to. So we are going to take this stencil. I'm going to try and center it ish. And ooh, there's 2 ways I could do this. We're going to go the fast way because we've already been on here for 2 hours. We're going to go the fast way, not the experimental way. Okay. So we're going to take our decor varnish. Again, it is in the Buy It Now. And I'm going to very carefully paint this on here. Try not to get too much seepage. This is a new attempt for me, so I really don't know how it's going to come out. It's a brand new product that I haven't tried. The decor varnish I've tried, of course, but not this other new product. I'm very excited about it. Because I feel like for Christmas, it could be seriously good. Did I get everywhere? think I got everywhere. It's a little heavy around the edges, but that's to be expected because I'm painting and not stenciling. I mean, I'm stenciling technically, but all right. So I'm just gonna get a bowl real quick from the kitchen. Okay. So this is velvet powder, and you can use it with the pointy thing, but I'm gonna use it, which is why I needed the bowl, so I can put back what I don't use. I'm gonna try putting it on here, like it's glitter or whatever. Once again, I've never tried this before. The tray kits are about 4 by 8. We kind of designed them to fit our 5 by 8 papers. This Thursday, I think Jackie's already shipped it. We had new sizes ordered for our 4 by 6 and 5 by 8 papers, so y'all can make ornaments and little matching frames. I didn't have the ornament hole put in it because I wanted it to be able to be a frame also, so you could just put a little eye hook on the top if you wanted it. All right. That was not too much wastage. See if you can tell. And there's my clean brush. It's like I know I have a clean brush here. Now I don't know how long you should wait or any of that. So this is totally a test. I will learn from this and next week or so try some different techniques. It's not as bold as I would like, but you can totally see it on there. So that will work. I do think it's neat, but I will work and see, maybe I need to leave it on and dry and then brush it off. That's probably the right answer, is to leave it on and let it dry before I try to brush excess off. Maybe roll it with a brayer to get it down into the glue, but you can totally see the patterns and the shapes on the back. So it's kind of neat, kind of a wallpaper technique that would be kind of cute on some ornaments. But overall, this is today's project. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it was fun. Um, if y'all want me to run any more papers or anything, let me know and I will be happy to. Otherwise, we will see you guys. I have a lot of packing to do today. I will see you guys on Wednesday. And Wednesday, we are doing vintage decor. We will have greenery available for you, but it will not be a surprise set. It will be vintage decor. So, hope you guys had fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and making it so I didn't have to talk to myself for 2 hours. And we're going to go raid somebody, and we'll see you later. We're going to go to Homespun Cottage because she comes on our shows quite a bit. See you guys.